Unexpected life events happen to all of us, right? I mean, you can be the most diligent, prepared student on the planet, and suddenly, bam, life throws a massive curveball right in the middle of a critical assessment period. So today, we're diving into this explainer to demystify a process that a lot of folks find, frankly, pretty intimidating. But it's absolutely crucial. We're talking about applying for special consideration at UNSW.
And this right here, this is the official 2025 UNSW Special Consideration Guideline. It's a dense 11-page bureaucratic document. But don't worry, we're going to transform this giant puzzle into your clear, reassuring roadmap, pulling out the exact rules, deadlines, and requirements you actually need to know.
So here's our agenda for today. We're covering 6 key areas. What is special consideration? Are you eligible? The fit to sit rule, gathering your evidence, navigating technical issues, and finally, when and how to apply.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1. What is special consideration?
So the crucial point here is that this system is designed specifically as a safety net for sudden short-term disruptions. We're talking about things that literally jump out of nowhere. It's not meant for prolonged, ongoing struggles. You know, if you're dealing with something chronic that impacts you long-term, that's where the UNSW Equitable Learning Services, or ELS, would step in instead. Special consideration, that is your emergency parachute for a specific acute event.
Moving right along to Section 2. Are you eligible?
Now, the impact on you must be substantial. It's not enough to just be having kind of a bad day. The guidelines are super strict. The event has to be totally unexpected and completely beyond your control. Plus, it must have disturbed your study for 3 consecutive days or a total of 5 non-consecutive days during a critical study period. Or it's got to be an event that completely blocked you from attending an exam or finishing an assessment on a specific due date.
What's really fascinating here is the stark contrast between what UNSW accepts and what they will instantly reject. True emergencies, absolutely covered. Think sudden illness, trauma, being a victim of a crime, or getting hit with an unexpected eviction. But look at that non-applicable list. Things like taking a holiday, juggling a heavy academic workload, sleeping through your alarm, or, no joke, your computer running an auto-update during an exam. Those are entirely on you. You're expected to plan for those, so they definitely won't fly with the review team.
Okay, Section 3, the fit to sit rule.
All right, listen up, because this is the famous fit to sit rule, and it is a massive point of no return. The second you decide to open that final exam paper or click Start on a timed Moodle quiz, you are legally declaring to the university that you are healthy enough to take it. If you do that, any previous special consideration application you made for that exam, totally void. You can't just start the exam, realize it's too hard because you feel awful, and then try to claim special consideration after the fact. You've got to decide your fitness before you hit start.
But look, the university gets that emergencies can literally happen mid-exam. If you suddenly become violently ill during the actual test, you aren't completely out of luck. But you must follow these exact 3 steps to save your grade. First, stop working immediately. Second, notify the supervisor before the exam ends. And third, you have to provide a medical certificate dated within 24 hours of that exact exam. No exceptions.
Let's head into Section 4, gathering your evidence.
Because having a valid reason means nothing if you don't have the exact paperwork UNSW demands. Every single exceptional circumstance maps strictly to a highly specific type of required evidence. It leaves literally no room for guesswork. Short-term illness, you need a specific medical or hospital certificate. Victim of a crime or suddenly evicted, you need a police report or an official authority letter. A death in the family requires a death certificate or obituary. They literally have a chart for this, and your evidence has to align perfectly with your claim.
Now, when it comes to medical evidence, there's a really strict standard. If you are physically located in Australia, your medical note must be from an AHPRA-registered health practitioner. A note from an unregistered practitioner, an herbalist, or an overseas doctor if you're studying onshore in Sydney, well, it simply won't be accepted. The university reserves the right to verify these documents, so they have to be absolutely legit.
And let's talk telehealth, because it's everywhere now. You have to ensure your online medical certificate comes from a real-time video or phone call. If the evidence shows you just filled out some quick web form or online questionnaire to get a certificate, it's going to be rejected. This real-time proof is absolutely mandatory if your application is for a final exam, a timed assessment, or if you're asking for an extension longer than 3 days.
All right, Section 5, navigating technical issues.
So what happens if your screen freezes or your upload fails? Well, you need to act like a digital detective immediately. You've got to gather timestamp screenshots of
error messages, screen loading failures, and even internet speed tests. You have to unequivocally prove the tech failure was entirely out of your control. And hey, remember that non-applicable list we talked about earlier? Make sure you disable auto updates on your computer before exams, because a Windows update forcing a restart is considered your fault, not grounds for special consideration.
Oh, and a super quick but vital warning for remote and international students. Time zones matter. It is entirely your responsibility to convert your local time to Sydney time. Special consideration will never be awarding if you miss an exam just because you got the time zone wrong. The only tiny exception is if a timed assessment falls between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. in your local time, then you can apply to have it rescheduled to more reasonable daylight hours.
Okay, the finish line. Section 6. When and how to apply.
I want you to remember this exact number, 3. You have exactly 3 working days.
Whether you're submitting your initial application after an assessment due date, or your application was rejected and you're requesting a review from the student case review team, that 3 working day window is an incredibly strict deadline. You just can't afford to miss it. Late applications are only considered in the most exceptional, highly documented circumstances where you literally could not apply sooner. Seriously, do not test this deadline.
Navigating university bureaucracy while you're sick, stressed, or grieving? It's incredibly hard, but hopefully, having seen exactly what the rulebook says, you feel a bit more equipped to handle it. But right before you log into that student portal, what are the absolute final things you need to remember?
Keep these final tips in your back pocket. If it's a non-timed assessment like an essay, keep working on it and submit it when it's up to standard. Don't just sit around waiting for an approval email. If you've got overseas evidence, make sure it comes with a NATI certified English translation. If multiple assignments are affected, you have to submit a separate application for every single one. And always, always check Moodle for your exact due dates. The system demands perfection in your paperwork, but now you know exactly how to play the rules. So, if a crisis hits tomorrow, will you let the bureaucracy defeat you, or are you ready to beat the system at its own game?